Hi, and welcome back to Your Future, Your Finances. We've got a great show for you today. I'm your host, Brian Kuhn. We're talking with an organization that's been in Montgomery County for a while now, a great service, an organization called the Yellow Ribbon Fund, and I have their founder and director, John Adams, with us today.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes, well, thanks for coming on the show. So tell us a little bit about what the Yellow Ribbon Fund is. When did it start?
We're, as you mentioned, Bethesda, Montgomery County based, a little over 12 years ago now. And the original mission statement was welcoming our injured service members back into our community. We've since expanded that to include wounded, ill, and injured service members back into our community.
And what motivated you to found the organization? Obviously, there's a need, I would imagine, but your involvement in it?
Well, you listed me as the founder, and there was more than myself, of course. But a little over 12 years ago, 2005, as we all remember, there was a large number of service members coming back from our war zone in the Middle East, many of them severely injured, and coming to Navy Medical, now Walter Reed, and the old Walter Reed in Washington, D.C. So the two hospitals were getting a good number of troops in. A group of us just started with a dinner, a Thanksgiving dinner, inviting them and their caregivers out for a nice Thanksgiving dinner to get out of the hospital. So from that, we gathered some information, asked questions, what kind of needs do you have, and we were introduced initially to caseworkers, staff at the hospitals, who we asked the question to, what do you need? There were other organizations already providing many things, USO being the biggest one, of course, but smaller ones. And we just wanted to know what we could do perhaps locally. We were told right from the beginning that the troops, they had great attitudes. They were going to get best medicine and care they could possibly get. But the caregivers who were flying in to support them were very stressed out, and there were gaps in what the military and the government was providing the caregivers. And as we know, our area is pretty much high-cost area for doing anything. So on one of these first visits to gather that type of information, a caseworker, Steve Springer at Navy Medical, said, well, I have a troop who was just flown in yesterday. His mother's flying in from the Midwest, and she has no place to stay or a way to get around. And I can already tell by talking to her on the phone, she's quite stressed. So we got her contact information, and we went and rented her a motel room, and through the good offices of Jack and Dottie Fitzgerald of Fitz Smalls, who also have rental car agencies with their dealerships, rented her a car to get around. So really that was the beginning, and what motivated us to start the organization.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's very good stuff. So what are you working on these days? What's the more recent developments?
Well, from that beginning of one motel room and one rental car 12 years ago, we now have paid for over 2,000 rental cars. And all of this is, of course, free to the caregivers that we're providing the services to. Over 10,000 motel rooms in the area. We now lease 10 apartments in the area because many of the cases are here long-term, many years, many surgeries, and for them and their caregivers, we've provided this long-term type of free lodging as well. So the kinds of things that we've expanded from those initial programs include events, which we have a director of events and volunteers, of which we have over 1,000 on our volunteer list. And this young lady plans all kinds of events for the troops at the hospitals, insofar as karaoke nights, dinners at Thanksgiving, Christmas, barbecues when the weather permits, this kind of thing. And the out of that program arose the caregiver program, which we have focused on from the beginning. We have a director of caregivers who focuses on just the caregivers. And as the folks at the hospital told us early on, the best way to help the troops recover is to take care of the caregivers so that they can provide their, one-on-one service. So
Yeah.
this young lady provides a way for the caregivers to get out of the hospital environment with anything from spa days to workouts, pool days with their kids, movie nights, just all kinds of activities.
Wonderful.
So that's another way that we've kind of asked or answered the question, what's needed? What are the gaps that aren't being provided?
That's wonderful. And within each segment, we always want to be clear this is a show about current events and great organizations and also personal finance. So you're an organization that accepts both help and financial contributions, and purely from a planning standpoint, there's always the opportunity to talk about that. That's wonderful. We got to take a break. We're going to wind down briefly. What's the website? Let's get that into this segment.
Sure, www.yellowribbonfund.org.
Okay, great. We'll take a break. We'll pick up right where we left off with some more from the Yellow Ribbon Fund. We're speaking with John Adams, and we'll be right back. You're watching Your Future, Your Finances.